間となりましたので、セレクト USA ウェビナーを開催いたします。ございます。米国総領事館総務部で対応所を担当している中岡と申します。本日は米国における新動向、この産業の主要な地域を紹介するシリーズです。5月、6月はエネルギーと製造業に焦点を当て開催します。第1回目の本日は、ニューメキシコ州提供によるプログラム、再生可能エネルギーがビジネスに与える影響をお届けします。プログラムに入る前に注意事項がございます。事前にご質問いただきありがとうございます。質問はレクチャーの最中でも右手にあります Q&A ボックスに無記名でご入力いただけます。時間の都合上すべて対応できない場合は個別に連絡させていただきます。皆様のマイクとビデオがオフになっていることをご確認ください。それではプログラムを始めます。まず、米国大使館をいただき、引き続き、ニューメキシコ州ルーハン・グリシャム知事のビデオメッセージをご覧ください。前田さん、お願いします。
はい、ありがとう、中岡さん。皆様、おはようございます。米国大使館上席商務官のアーリー・前田です。Good morning, everyone. My name is Arlene Maeda, and I am a commercial attaché at the U.S. Embassy here in Tokyo. On behalf of the U.S. Embassy, I would like to welcome you to our webinar today and thank you for your participation. We launched our 2021 Select USA webinar series focusing on key U.S. industry sectors, accompanied by a discussion on how individual states are excelling in those industries. Starting from this month, we will be featuring the U.S. energy and manufacturing industries. But last month, as you all know, President Biden hosted a global climate summit where he fulfilled his promise to rejoin the Paris Agreement and set a course for the United States to tackle the climate crisis at home and abroad, reaching net zero emissions economy-wide by no later than 2050. To reach this target, the United States has set a goal to achieve 100% carbon pollution-free electricity by 2035. Renewable energy is the key element to achieving this goal, and it will impact all businesses. So I am delighted to welcome New Mexico, a state with a long history and leadership in energy production. Today, as pioneers in renewable energy, New Mexico will provide you with some insight into the changes in renewables and how it affects manufacturing and other industries. First, I'd like to thank the New Mexico Partnership for their help in organizing today's program. I also would like to thank JETRO for their support in reaching out to their members. I hope you will all find today's program to be helpful in your investment planning efforts, and we look forward to assisting you in any way we can. With that, we have a message from the Governor of New Mexico, Michelle Lujan Grissom, to open today's event. Thank you again for your participation.
Hello, I'm Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham of the great state of New Mexico. For far too long, states like New Mexico have been fighting on their own against the existential threat of climate change, working to adapt to a green, clean energy economic future. Here in New Mexico, we know the stakes could not be higher. New Mexico has made excellent progress towards our goals. I signed into law the landmark Energy Transition Act, committing New Mexico's electricity sector to zero carbon resources by 2050, and we're way ahead of that schedule. We have introduced nation-leading natural gas waste rules that will curb emissions in the oil and gas sector, and we're tackling transportation emissions by focusing on the adoption of clean car rules and the passing of a clean fuel standard. We understand that our work to tackle climate change must include every single New Mexican and all of our communities in building a more just and equitable future. And I am proud that our state's efforts to transition to zero carbon energy have been paired with direct economic assistance and help to our energy producing communities. Federal leadership is essential to strengthen our actions being taken here on the state level. New Mexico looks forward to working together towards our common goal of climate justice. Thank you.
続きまして、ニューメキシコ州経済開発局長官、アリシア・キーズ氏より、ニューメキシコ州のビジネス環境についてお話しいただきます。Secretary Keys, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about New Mexico. There really is no other place like our state. It's really a combination of art, beauty, and science. We have wide open spaces and a profitable business climate. We have low income taxes, no inventory taxes, one of the nation's lowest property taxes, and no tax on consumables used in manufacturing. New Mexico has a lucrative deal closing fund, which made sustainable by the governor and our legislative leadership recently. We invest in local companies that are making a difference, like Nature's Toolbox, which is a homegrown biopharma company revolutionizing the way vaccines and medicines are made. We have also invested in companies like Facebook, Jabil, Accentria, and Netflix. Jabil purchased a building in Albuquerque and it's already equipped with one of our world's largest gamma irradiators. Facebook came here to build a data center and is now building 6. And the company has said that our dedicated workforce is the reason for their commitment. Recently, we announced that Intel is spending $3.5 billion in a New Mexico facility to expand it and create the U.S. hub for chip modernization. New Mexico also has a very generous workforce training program that has been recognized as one of the top 5 in the country. Our state offers tax incentives, including an investment credit and refundable tax credits for creating new jobs. On this slide are our 9 target industry sectors. Our dry climate and open space are perfect for the aerospace industry. And Spaceport America is home to a growing cluster of space companies doing exciting research. Bioscience research is undertaken at 2 national labs and 2 research universities, making New Mexico attractive to both bioscience and biopharma companies. New Mexico Tech is a center of excellence here for cybersecurity research. And film and television is one of the fastest growing industries here. Netflix just doubled down on its original $1 billion investment, so $2 billion to build a massive movie studio. New Mexico has plentiful natural resources to generate sustainable energy and has made the commitment to be 100% renewable by 2045. We have the most profitable business climate in the West for manufacturing companies, according to Ernst & Young. Our state offers every outdoor activity you can imagine, and we are growing our outdoor economy, our outdoor recreation economy also. Value-added agriculture includes clean fuels and the New Mexico foods the whole world loves. Finally, we have global trade and foreign direct investment. Our international border with Mexico has become a destination for manufacturing. 3 Taiwanese companies have chosen Santa Teresa because of the port of entry and surrounding 12-mile overweight cargo zone make it user-friendly. We also have quick access to the maquiladoras in Juarez in Mexico. We invite you to come and visit us. New Mexico has been home to diverse cultures for hundreds of years. This history has created a special place. Tolerance and acceptance are a way of life here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
次に、パブリックサービスカンパニーオブニューメキシコ、略しまして PNM、事業開発マネージャーエリーシャ・サベドラー氏より、再生可能エネルギーがビジネスに与える影響についてお話しいただきます。PNM は州最大の電気会社で、52万5000の法人・個人にサービスを提供しています。エリーシャ、are you ready?
Hi, good morning in Japan and good evening from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you for joining me today for a brief overview of our renewable energy transition. Today, I will discuss Pnm's path to clean energy and how we're working with our customers to understand what this means for them and how they can meet their own clean energy goals. I'll start by sharing how our electric grid has been operated over the last century and talk about how renewable energy is changing that model. We'll look at where the renewable energy resources lie within the United States and talk about how many electric utilities in the United States and all over the world are carving out a new path to a clean energy future. Finally, I'll walk you through a few case studies of real customers and discuss how the potential implications of our important transition will impact or could impact manufacturers such as yourselves. Traditionally, utilities build large-scale generating facilities in remote locations far away from the customers who use that power. The electricity that comes out of the generating station is stepped down in voltage and transmitted over high-power transmission lines. The power is carried through these transmission lines to neighborhood transformers where it's stepped down again to primary distribution voltage. The distribution lines then carry the energy again to smaller transformers on poles near commercial buildings and homes. The voltage is then stepped down one final time, providing the energy that we use to power our office equipment or the appliances in our homes. This is important to note because every time the power is stepped down in voltage, some amount of energy is lost. Renewable energy is changing this model because it allows individuals as well as commercial customers and utilities to build smaller generating facilities closer or even directly connected to the consumers of that energy. When most of us think of renewable energy, we imagine solar panels or wind turbines spread out over beautiful green fields. While these are currently the most popular renewable sources of energy, there are additional renewable resources that can and should be considered by utilities and customers alike. Beyond solar and wind, biomass and geothermal renewable power plants are also a great source of renewable energy in areas where these resources exist in abundance. The United States has rich renewable potential. The richest solar resources can be found concentrated in the southwestern part of the United States. Wind resources are concentrated mostly in the middle of the country and in some parts of Alaska. Biomass resources are more dispersed, with pockets of high potential spread across many different states and regions of the country. And finally, geothermal, while also somewhat more dispersed than wind or solar, is plentiful in the western half of the United States and along the southern border of the country. Here in New Mexico, we believe that our plentiful renewable resources add to our value proposition, as we're able to provide low-cost renewable energy to our customers. We have the second best solar resource in the entire country and the fifth best wind resource. We also have some significant pockets of geothermal renewable resources. Because we are uniquely positioned to provide plentiful and low-cost renewable resources, we have decided, not only as a state, but as a company, to maximize the value of those resources. Pnm's path to clean energy is outlined on the chart that you see in front of you. We have already started to replace our fossil fuel generating plants with clean, sustainable generating resources. In 2017, we retired half of our San Juan generating station, and we plan to be completely out of this power plant before the summer of 2022. At the end of 2024, we will transfer our shares in our Four Corners coal-fired generation station and continue building clean sources of energy as they're needed to serve our service territory. By 2040, we plan to provide at least 80% of our power from renewable resources, and we will be 100% carbon-free. As you can see from this map, we're not the only state in our region to make major commitments toward a sustainable, clean energy future. However, we are the most aggressive in our goals to get there. By 2030, the state requires electric utilities to provide at least 50% of their power from renewables. That requirement will grow to 80% by the year 2040. At Pnm, we're committed to exceeding even the state's aggressive goals. We plan to be 100% carbon-free by 2040, which is 5 years ahead of the state's goal. With utilities like Pnm taking the initiative and making the investments in clean power, customers have a unique opportunity to reevaluate their own goals and the impact of the change to their operations. Sustainability goals can now be reimagined as new products and services become available during this transition. Customers today can also consider operational and reliability benefits of renewables as well. For customers who are looking primarily at sustainability, there are 3 options currently available in New Mexico. Customers can choose to own or lease these renewable generation facilities and have them sited on their property. For customers who do not want a facility on their location, they can also look at short or long-term energy contracts. And for customers who don't want to purchase the renewable facility or the energy, they can also purchase the green value, which is called a renewable energy credit, and they can purchase these through a contract as well. For customers who are looking at reducing their operating costs, Pnm has 4 current options. In New Mexico, we offer net energy metering, and that allows customers to offset every kilowatt hour that their facility generates against a kilowatt hour that they use at their facility. We also have our own green energy tariffs, and these differ in different states, but they're all intended to incentivize customer investments in clean energy. We recently passed in New Mexico legislation that will allow community solar options as well. This is where multiple customers can subscribe to energy generated at a single facility. Customers can also pair their renewable facility with battery storage to reduce their peak consumption of energy. For customers looking to invest in their own reliability, there are 3 exciting options. Batteries or natural gas can be paired with the renewable energy facility to help customers ride through any power outages that might occur. Smart inverters can also be paired with the renewable facilities to smooth ramp curves and help ride through voltage fluctuations that occur on the grid. In the United States, we're also starting to see microgrids paired with renewable energy. These programs are being deployed in many states, and utilities are studying the benefits of these systems. Now I'm going to share 3 brief case studies. These are customers that PNM worked with to help them meet their renewable goals and help them work through their unique challenges. The first customer is a manufacturer who was located in a single building. They have high energy usage for 2 hours in the middle of the day because of their operating process, and they were unable to change that. When they came to PNM, they had 2 goals. They wanted to reduce their bills, their energy bills, and they wanted to reduce their carbon footprint. They looked at purchasing land next to their current facility and putting a solar generating plant next to their manufacturing building. What they found is that the land was too costly and they were not able to meet their corporate office's requirement of a 10-year payback. We worked with them to look at other renewable options. We found a solution, and that was rooftop solar with battery storage. The solar facility was able to help offset their energy usage, and they were able to use their battery to reduce their peak energy needs in those 2 high-cost hours. This created the bill reduction that they needed and resulted in less than a 10-year payback. The second customer was a mixed-use customer, and they had many facilities and many accounts that were dispersed throughout PNM's service territory. This customer wanted to reach a goal of 100% renewable energy within a couple of years. Their challenge was that they had many accounts and they were on many different PNM account rates. We did a study to look at rooftop solar as an option for this customer. What we found was that many of their roofs were older and would have to be replaced. And we also found that even if we put rooftop solar on every roof, it would not be enough to meet their renewable goal. PNM worked with multiple customers to solve this one. We found that we needed to create a new community solar product called Pnm Solar Direct. The customer's subscription level to the community solar program, when paired with PNM's renewable resources, was able to help this customer reach their renewable energy goal. They were able to reach their goal without having to make any investments in their rooftops and without purchasing any property. The last customer that I'll share with you is a very stable, high energy user. They use roughly the same amount of energy day and night. Their goals were to reduce their costs and to add additional green energy resources to the grid. Their usage profile didn't match up well with renewable resources because their energy is stable throughout the day. And they also shared with us that our PNM resources could not be counted toward the goal. For this customer, we found that we had to create a green energy tariff. The customer was able to purchase energy from a nearby solar facility through a long-term power purchase agreement. And PNM was able to pair that with our green energy tariff, which allowed them to purchase energy from PNM and lean on us as a backup. In summary, the U.S. is in the midst of an important energy transition. with more renewables being provided by electric utilities through their standard service rates. This is allowing customers to reevaluate their investments in clean power. And today, more than ever, they can take advantage of new ways to build their own approach to electric service. Thank you very much for your time, and if you have any questions, I look forward to them.
ありがとうございます。それではここから、質疑応答に移ります。まず最初に、キーズ長官への質問です。州の気候、住環境、特に食生活安全について教えてください。また、陸上輸送物流についても教えてください。
I'll start with logistics. New Mexico is connected to both international borders and the coasts by highways and rail. We are perfectly located to the east and west on interstates 10, 25, and 40. We also have Union Pacific and BNSF railroads. And the Albuquerque International Sunport serves most of the state and is also a foreign trade zone. And now with regards to culture, the first culture, which was indigenous, arrived in New Mexico 1,000 years ago. It was followed by the Spanish on the Camino Real from Mexico in the 16th century. And the Santa Fe Trail opened in the mid-19th century, bringing the first white settlers. So we have many cultures, art, and food. In terms of Japanese culture in New Mexico, about 2% of the population is Asian. In Albuquerque and Las Cruces, we have Asian grocery stores. And many people think of New Mexico as cowboys and open space, but we have cities with skyscrapers and big buildings. And every year for the past 20 years, we have a New Mexico Japanese American Citizens League, and they host a fall festival. It's called Aki Matsuri. Thank you for the question.
続きまして、次からの質問は、PNM、サーベイドラーさんへの質問です。再生可能エネルギーの経済、環境価値以外の価値とは何でしょうか？
We are lucky enough at this time that we can think about creative ways to use renewable energy to reduce energy cost for customers and to increase reliability.
次の質問です。公益事業者がすでに再生可能資源に投資している場合、企業は再生可能資源への投資を継続すべきなのでしょうか？
I would say yes, absolutely. As I just stated, there are wonderful reasons to invest in renewable energy. Customers can reduce their bills, as well as these new technologies provide an opportunity for customers to invest in their reliability.
次の質問です。太陽光や風力などの再生可能資源は、断続的ですが、信頼性を犠牲にすることなく、どのようにして従来の発電にとって変わることができるのでしょうか？
That again is going to require some creativity. Battery storage is definitely a technology that is evolving, and there's actually more investment in battery type technologies now than in renewable resources themselves. We do expect these technologies to evolve very quickly. And we believe that when paired up with the renewable resources, we'll be able to provide the same level of reliability, if not better. And the reason that we think that better is a possibility is because these renewable resources are located closer to the power need and therefore require less lines and have less opportunity to be interrupted by environmental things like birds or wind.
はい、次の質問に行きます。実現には投資が必要でエネルギー費用のアップが避けられないと考えますが、最終的に負担する消費者の理解はどのように得ていくのでしょうか。理解を得やすい政策があれば教えてください。
Absolutely. At Pnm, one of the things that we are actively working on right now is a marketing campaign to help customers understand what this transition will mean for them. The other thing that we will be doing is we will be spreading out the costs over a longer period of time to reduce the burden from one year to the next. We are also very lucky right now because New Mexico is in high demand and our economy is growing. And what that means is that we have more kilowatt hours of energy to spread that cost over, so the rate per kilowatt hour is lower.
はい、次の質問に行きます。消費者のエネルギー費用が下がるということですが、一次エネルギーは無料で手に入るとしても、設備投資分の回収を含め、エネルギー費用が下がるという、理屈をもう少し教えていただきたいです。
Absolutely. So when we work with customers, we look at the price of energy that they're paying today, and we compare that to the cost that they will incur, including investing in the renewable facilities. Taking that additional cost into consideration, we run an analysis that looks at how much their bill can be reduced by the renewable energy. There are two primary ways that a solar facility can reduce a bill for a customer at Pnm. The first is that it reduces the amount of energy that a customer is billed for. And what we can do is, as an example, is if a customer uses 1,000 kilowatt hours of energy and their facility generates 1,000 kilowatt hours of energy in that same month, they will be billed for 0 kilowatt hours of energy. And with batteries, the second way that customers are able to reduce their bill is they're able to reduce the amount of energy that's used in the higher cost hours. And because we have such a good renewable energy resource, such a good solar resource, the investment made in a solar facility in New Mexico yields a very high level of output when compared to many other places in the country.
ありがとうございました。それでは時間となりましたので、本日のウェビナーを終了いたします。後ほどアンケートを送りますので、回答のご協力をお願いいたします。次回、インディアナ州における先端製造業と素材産業のイノベーションは、来週5月20日木曜日を予定しています。皆様のご参加をお待ちしております。本日はありがとうございました。